How you folks doing? That's not good enough. How you folks doing? All right. Little musical interlude to get us moving, get the juices flowing. So just want to offer you a couple of thoughts about finding your purpose in life. Not something necessarily that all of us think about on a day-to-day basis, but as I've found, a really core issue that we need to revisit as often as we can, and is especially an important question in what I call the new era of work. So just to illustrate the importance of it, let's do a little experiment. Raise your left hand, please. Make a circle. These are your skills. These are the unique attributes about you. These are all the things that you can do. Make a circle with your right hand. This is your ideal job. This is like the perfect use of your skills. Now, how much overlap in what you're doing in your life right now is there? Make a little Venn diagram. Is it 100%? Is it partial? Are they not even on the same? Oh, I see a range. But some people, no, we're not there yet. Other people, it's pretty close. This is nirvana. So,
really fat fingers.
If you have fat fingers, it means you have a tremendous number of purposes in life. So, now this question of your purpose in life, of trying to decide the balance, the link between what you're best at and what you could be doing with your life, wasn't something that even occurred in our parents' or our parents' parents' generation. My parents are probably a little older than some in the audience. It wasn't even an issue that was really something that was possible for us to be thinking about. And speaking of parents, my father actually was a minister when I was younger, and he thought he was doing the thing that he was meant to do. He was actually a minister, and he was fired. And so he thought he had 100% overlap, and then it was suddenly taken out from underneath him. And he went on a journey to try to figure out, well, what's the process that I should be going through? What should I be doing with my life? And he eventually found that part of his purpose was to help other ministers. And he decided that one of the things a lot of ministers were having happen to them as they were being fired. And he went on a journey to basically write a pamphlet to help them. And it turned into a book. And the book is called What Color is Your Parachute? It's a job hunting guide. There are now 10 million copies in print. And my father's become probably one of the greatest career experts on the planet. So when I was younger, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, what the overlap might be, when I was 19, I actually went to work with his business. I became a career counselor. And it doesn't take counseling too many people in their 40s and 50s to figure out that you should be doing what you love. That the more you can try to make this overlap between what your skills are and what you could be doing as close as possible is actually a wonderful goal. Unfortunately for me, when I was younger, I didn't know what that answer was. And so I sort of meandered around, didn't quite know exactly what field I was interested in. I probably did 20 jobs in my early 20s. And being young and stupid at the time, I went to my father and was trying to understand what he thought might be my purpose in life. And I kept asking him questions, and I never quite got the answer until I finally asked him, well, if you were my age, what would you be doing? And his answer was, more. Give it a beat. So I eventually got the message, and I realized, well, one of the things that I loved was technology. So I moved to Silicon Valley, and I've basically been there for 30 years. I've launched a half a dozen magazines, including one called Interactive Week, which was called the Internet's first newspaper. And I identified that one of the things I loved to do was to see trends, see the way that the world is changing. I got involved in producing events. I produced events for companies like Google and the United Nations, and loved the process of bringing people together. And then I also got involved in software startups. As a matter of fact, what we're doing now with eParachute, which plays off of What Color is Your Parachute, is my 5th software startup. And one of the things that I learned is that this process of seeing inflection points and the ways that the world is changing was really important to me. And so I actually think we're at one of those inflection points, and it has to do with the world of work. I think the world of work is changing. And I think we're going to look back on this period, and we're all going to say that the rules changed. There are new rules of work, and we need to understand them to be successful in that work market. The old work market was designed for a post-industrial mentality. I don't know if you realize this whole idea of a big glut of education at the beginning of your life and going to college and being trained for a thing, and then going out into the world of work, jumping from the box of education into the box of work. That works really well if you're trying to work in a factory or if you're trying to work in jobs where they're pretty well defined. You kind of know you're a peg and there's a slot, and you're going to jump in the slot and everything's good. But the work market is changing dramatically. Part of it is because we just came out of this, well, we're hopefully still coming out of this long recession. We've washed out a whole bunch of jobs that just don't exist anymore. And so there's high unemployment, but employers in many cases are complaining they can't find the people that they want. And I think it's because the rules of work have changed. So one of those rules is that the old peg and slot mentality of specific jobs with people jumping into them, there's not going to be as much of that in the future. And instead what's going to happen is that people need to become far more individually driven. They've got to become more self-reliant. They've got to become more keyed into their own purpose. I think the education market is going to change. I think this whole mentality of jumping into a glut of education and going to college for just this period of time, that's going to go the way of the dodo. And instead, that whole model is going to turn on its side, and it's going to become a model of lifelong education, lifelong work, and also lifelong leisure, the things that we do in our spare time as well. I think that the box mentality of big box of education, a big box of work, and then a big box of leisure in what used to be retirement, we call it the period formerly known as retirement, that's going to go away as well, and we're going to be working for a lot longer. So what does all this have to do with your purpose and social media? Well, a couple of things. When people go through the process of determining what they should be doing with their lives, there are 3 important steps. Everybody goes through these steps. Some people do it in 5 minutes. Some people do it in 5 years. Some people do it in 50 years. The first question that you have to answer is, what am I here for? Who am I? What are my skills? What are the things about me that are unique? Every single person has a unique combination of skills and values and interests that makes you the only person on the planet with that exact combination. And rather than this old mentality of forget your uniqueness and just fall into being a peg in a slot, the new world of work is going to not only encourage you, but demand that you know what you're doing, that you're far more purpose-driven. And so in the era of social media, the what, the determining who you are, that's where you can use the various tools around you to be able to reach the people who can be your supporters, the people who can help you to go through the process of determining what. Step number 2 is where. Given your unique set of skills and interests and values, where can you best apply them? Now, in the old model, that was one place and for a career, an entire lifetime. And you got a gold watch at the end. In the new era, the era that is much more entrepreneurial, your skills and interests and values can be used in dozens or hundreds of different combinations. And so actually, the onus is on you to make a determination about the best place to be able to do that. And again, social media can help. The where can be where people who are supporters of yours, people who are in your network, can help you to brainstorm, help you to figure out all the different places you could be doing that kind of work, the different kinds of work that you think might be possible. And as a matter of fact, this whole entrepreneurial culture of startups and of continually trying on new ways to be able to do new things and to meet new customer needs, that's a great part of the where process as well. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to enter an era where it isn't just whether or not you did a startup, it's everybody's going to have their own startup. As a matter of fact, Reid Hoffman and Ben Kaznoka have a new, the founder of LinkedIn, have a new book out called The Startup of You. And I think they've had a couple of key ideas, which is you should be more entrepreneurial, especially in determining the where. And then finally, the third step after what your unique skills are, where you can use those skills, is the how, the mechanics of actually linking up to those situations, finding the people who can help you to meet those, who can help you to be able to match up your unique purpose and values with work opportunities. And again, social media comes to the rescue. That's where the broad network, there's an old phrase in Chinese, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I believe in the new work market, it's when the purpose-driven person is ready, the network appears. That actually your network can be designed to help you to make the connections to the best possible opportunities. So my parting wish for all of you in the new world of work is that we all come to understand these rules a little bit better, and that ultimately you will be able to continually, throughout your life, again and again, to take the circles, your particular skills and interests and where you can apply them, and to make them overlap. That's it. Thanks.